Hey guys, what's up? My name is Bharat, you're watching IGyaan, and today we're going to be reviewing Redmi's new Redmi 9 Power, which is yet another phone in a large battery format, but more importantly, it's priced really low. Is this phone good enough for your money? Let's find out in this review. Now, Redmi's taken a new approach to design, which may be new for Redmi, but for a lot of other people, you've already seen this design from other brands. So as far as the back panel is concerned, you're looking at a very familiar design, and you do have the large Redmi branding on it. You also have this sort of wave out light effect on the panel. More importantly, the back panel is made entirely out of plastic, and it also has this texture on it. So you can make sounds on it. You also get a clear silicone protector inside the box, so you can snap that on the back if you want to prevent scratches or dings to the back panel. Because it's plastic, it'll get scratched and dinged quite easily. But that is mostly the case with any material that you use on the back of the phone. Plastic is good for certain things. It's also not so good for certain things. So you have to weigh in whether or not you like a plastic back. Xiaomi was selling Redmi phones with metal backs many years back, which is what made them popular. Now it's all plastic. Anyway, the frame is quite nicely built. It's quite rigid, and the phone doesn't have any flex or give whatsoever. So it's well constructed. It also has a splash-proof design, and the ports are rubberized and are also anti-corrosive. So they've put this sort of coating on the ports. So if you live in coastal areas or anything that is wet more than normal, your phone ports will not get corroded very easily, and that's a good thing. The front has a Corning Gorilla Glass 3 on there, and it is quite scratch resistant in itself. And Xiaomi does include a screen protector on the display pre-installed, which is something that is appreciable from any phone, especially in this price bracket, because it's difficult to find screen protectors the minute you buy the phone, and this one already has one, so you don't have to worry about adding a screen protector to your device anytime soon. So the Redmi 9 Power has a 6.53-inch Full HD Plus IPS display that gives it a 2340 by 1080 pixel resolution. This also has a brightness of 400 nits, which is not the brightest that you can get, but again, in this price category, this is one of the better displays, a better resolution display as well, that you can get. Speaking of price category, the phone starts at 10,999 for the 4GB plus 64GB variant, and 11,999 for the 4GB plus 128GB variant. So you're not getting any 6GB variants this time around. The phone also has 4 colors. The one we're looking at is the electric green, but it is also available in 3 other colors, including the fiery red, blazing blue, and the mighty black. So pick your color according to what you prefer. We kind of like this color. It looks nice. It's a cyanish color, almost like the OnePlus Nord, so it looks nice. Coming back to the display has good color and good viewing angles as well. It's an IPS display, so you get great viewing angles on this display. The 400 nits of brightness is great for watching videos or consuming any kind of content, also playing games, mostly indoors. Outdoors in peak sunlight you will struggle, but for everyday day-to-day usage outside, you will not have any problem with the Redmi 9 Power. The fingerprint sensor on the Redmi 9 Power is placed on what I think is the ideal position for a fingerprint sensor. You can use both your thumb on the right hand or your index finger on the left hand to unlock the device. So you can have multiple fingers enrolled in the fingerprint sensor, up to 5, which is pretty standard for Android devices, and you can use whatever finger you find most comfortable while using this phone. Also, you can have it unlock instantaneously the minute you tap the fingerprint sensor. Like I said, I think this is the most ideal place for fingerprint sensors, and if phone brands continue to use fingerprint sensors, this is where they should all live, in the power button. You also have a very nice clicky volume button set over there, and then on the left is dedicated SIM tray. So you get 2 SIM cards as well as a micro SD card expansion. So if you pick a lower storage variant, you can still add quite a lot of storage. So ideally, I think you should pick the lower storage variant and then invest in a good micro SD card instead of picking the higher storage variant where you're spending 1,000 rupees more. On the flip side, if you don't want more than 128GB of storage, pick the 11999 variant, and then you don't have to worry about storage at all. Now, the phone has a 6000 mAh battery, which is what sets it apart from most of the other devices, but there are a lot of power devices available in the market, and Motorola just launched one, and other brands also sell basically large battery phones in this price bracket. The Redmi stands out for certain reasons because I think it's the only one with the full HD Plus display, which does make it a compelling offering from the company. It just stands out because of the display in itself, because people who want large battery lives have usually large display consumptions, and that makes sense for a larger display. and also for a larger resolution. But more importantly, I feel that what really sort of holds back Xiaomi is the MIUI, and that on this phone is not very good. It's not very smooth. It's not very clean. And Xiaomi can go, or Redmi can go a long way by simply providing an option of stock Android on these devices. There are lots of issues with the preloaded applications, lots of bloatware on this that I think is not the right attitude towards the customers. Customers have been complaining for a long time, and I think there should be an option available either for maybe slightly more money that a person should be able to buy a stock Android version of their phones, and I think that is a smart move that Xiaomi should take going forward. You do have the ability to customize the user interface quite a lot. So if you're a MIUI user and you do like MIUI, you have all those capabilities in there. The phone does seem to lag in the user interface from time to time, especially if you look at something like the Moto G9 Power, which has completely stock Android and is super smooth to use from the user interface and for day-to-day usage in Android. The MIUI-based Redmi 9 Power does struggle a little bit to keep up with the fluidity and just the smoothness of the UI that you get from everyday usage. So we're talking about the battery, which is the highlight of this phone. So 6,000 milliamps is what the battery size is. It does support 18-watt fast charging, but interestingly enough, Xiaomi includes a 22.5-watt charger inside the box. So you have more capability in the charger than the phone can support, which I think is a good thing because then you can use the charger to charge other devices that do support 20-watt, an iPhone perhaps, if you do have one of those lying around. But you also have reverse charging. So if you do have a USB-C to USB-C cable, you can use the Redmi 9 Power as a power bank and charge your other devices, which I think is great for if you're traveling, if you have a friend who has run out of battery because they have a paltry 3000 milliamp hour battery or something, you can just give them about 500 milliamps of juice so that they can make that call that they're waiting for. The Redmi 9 Power also has something called ELB, or Extended Long Battery Technology. That is just a fancy name for a battery saver tech that is built into the phone. So if you do want better performance from your 6000 milliamp hour battery, you can put it in like a power saver mode and get a longer battery duration from the device, which is great for if you're going on a trip and you forgot to bring your charger or something like that. Now, performance is something that is very respective of how you're going to use the phone. I've spoken about how the UI is not the smoothest and it's not the best experience that you can get on the device. But if you're looking at benchmarks, it does have a Qualcomm Snapdragon 662 chipset with an octa-core processor, which is 2 gigahertz at its peak clock. You also have the Adreno 610 GPU. The RAM is LPDDR4X and the storage is UFS 2.2. As far as benchmarks are concerned, or synthetic benchmarks are concerned, you'll see that it does score almost equivalent to what we are getting on the Moto G9 Power. So as far as performance, there's not a lot of difference between the devices. The Redmi does stand out for its Full HD Plus display. The Moto G9 Power does stand out for its stock Android and some of the performance that you get from the stock user interface. So you have to pick your poison. Would you prefer a better display or would you prefer better performance? Because it depends on what kind of usage of the device you have. But in both cases, you're getting quite a matchable performance stack as far as devices are concerned. The one other benefit that you do get with the Mi device or the Redmi device is the fact that you do have the Mi Remote app, which uses the inbuilt infrared sensor on the top of the phone to allow you to control devices that do have infrared remotes. But thinking about some of the things that Xiaomi makes themselves, infrared remotes are becoming more and more obsolete and more people are using Bluetooth remotes. But if you are somebody who uses devices that do use infrared remotes, this is great for controlling those things, especially air conditioners and things like that still use infrared remotes, and this is perfect for that. The cameras are also sort of in the same pipeline that you get in this price bracket. You have 4 cameras, 48 megapixel main camera, which is a quad pixel based camera. And then you also have an 8 megapixel ultra wide camera, and then a 2 megapixel macro and a 2 megapixel depth sensor. For the 48 megapixel main camera, you're getting 12 megapixel shots that are quad pixelized to give you a larger sort of megapixel image. I don't see the real point of that. If you click pictures in 12 megapixels, you'll get really good images with good contrast and good saturation, and you get also really crisp images so you can use them for social media, etc. So performance of the main camera is really good, and that does well for macro shots as well. The ultra wide is also pretty decent. If you do like clicking ultra wide pictures, the 8 megapixel camera will suffice. It doesn't work as well in low light because of the difference in the aperture, but for most cases you won't notice that difference. Especially if you want to click an ultra wide picture, you will get that advantage of the 8 megapixel camera. The 2 megapixel macro camera is trash. Leave it, don't use it. I rather recommend that you use a sort of macro lens on your camera and get a better shot. We leave a link to something that we recommend in the description below, and just use that on the main camera to get better resolution macro shots, and you get really nice and crisp shots if that's something that you're looking for. As far as the camera user interface is concerned, you do get the Mi Camera app, you do get all the customization and the capability. You also have a pro camera mode, lots of modes, but again, the phone seems to be struggling in the user interface. Moving between tabs is not the smoothest that you can get, and even video recording capability is capped at 1080p at 30 fps, which is not the greatest. You do have the option of switching between H.264 and H.265, which I don't see the benefit of if the resolution in itself is capped at 1080p at 30 fps. You do have a front-facing camera as well, which is great for portrait shots, and you can also get some sort of light enhancement in there, so you get pretty decent front-facing camera images. But again, video recording on the front-facing camera is not the best. The 8 megapixel camera is good enough for selfies, which is basically what a lot of people will use this camera for. Overall, the Redmi 9 Power does offer up quite an impressive spec sheet. You do have, on one hand, 6000 milliamps of battery, you have a full HD plus display, and then you have the fingerprint sensor, which is in the power button, which in itself I think warrants a pretty good phone. The build quality is impressive. It is a splash-proof design, and then you also have the ability to charge other phones. You have anti-corrosive ports. So these things make the phone really impressive, but things like the MIUI, which is basically slowing down the phone considerably, the day-to-day experience of the phone is not the greatest. It pushes the phone back a little bit. But then you do have other capabilities like the remote capability and some other customizations in the MIUI which sort of elevate the phone. So there are pros and there are cons of this device, and based on what you prefer, you should decide whether or not you want to buy this phone. There are options in the market, but some have better things and some have less better things. So for example, if you look at the Moto G9 Power, it has a better user interface and a stock Android experience, but it doesn't have a full HD plus display. It's still an HD display. That does depreciate on the experience quite a lot. But then you can decide which phone is best for you. The Redmi 9 Power is a good overall package, but it does miss out on the usage experience, which is, I think, what is something that you're going to be doing every day. If you enjoyed this review, don't forget to smash the like button, hit the subscribe button if you're not already a part of Team IGyaan, along with the bell notification icon so that you get notified each time we upload a new video. This has been Bharat Nagpal. I'll see you guys in the next one.